Hey everyone. All right. अब चाहिँ to answer Amitको question, which is regarding 4.4 कसरी गर्ने भनेर. So let me work on that है त. So first I want to see what's in 4.4. I think it is regarding Excel. होइन तर let me just के नाम थियो त्यसको प्रोजेक्ट sample के भन्ने थियो यार sample lab report. Okay. So 4.4 मा Rajan Sharma. 4.4 functions. All right. यहाँबाट जानु मिल्दैन? No. Let's go to 4.4. Okay. Student marks dataset. Actually, this dataset is with your website, so we could get it from there instead of having to create it on our own. And actually, all of these things are a part of your website. This report itself is created using the exercises from the website. So from there also we can have a clue about what we're supposed to do. So in case we could go to notes on PRC 110. Okay, so let me go to Excel. What's Excel? EXCL. So let me also find that data set either. So the particular task is regarding Excel, I know. MS Word and Excel go. And what we could do is we could get the data from here. So so around here you will find instead of this we could go to the slides. Slides is the last one. So slides and then formulas and functions 1, 2. So do take a look. This is just so that you don't have to type all of it. So website is slow. Excel load by the blank workbook. Okay. You jump to the last slide and you can download the sample here. It takes a while. Sales data, so they are. I know. We want using, which is part of 3.2 either. 3.3 has sales data, so we want 3.2 just as a student grades. So you could also create your own, like you don't have to use the sample. Open Gurney, and then it has been downloaded to the downloads folder. So downloads folder account, or you can browse it from here. Downloads now. I just downloaded it. Okay. खुल्दैछ कहाँ खोल्यो खोइ अझै खुल्दैछ खुल्दैछ राइट खुल्यो होइन यो त होइन स्याम्पल ग्रेडिङ सिट यो त मैले मार्क्स इन्टरनल मार्क्स दिने हो अय्यो what is the name of the file student फेरि हेर oh man hang by the cheese though I could possibly go from here pani so I could do this which opens up the folder where it was downloaded to के भयो केले खाइरहेछ मेरो र्याम let me turn off everything ल WhatsApp किन चाहियो अहिले हैन OneDrive Windows मा चाहिँ that's the problem everything is running at the same time we don't even need those things right now yeah close okay so still processor is like 100% never mind so student grades I want to open this in Excel that's opening open the bio but in a new window that's an answer okay so let me just close that all right so we have this data so let me make it a little larger so this is the data that we have there are there are a few functions that we need to try out so these are the functions okay so total marks for each student ko लागि चाहिँ we have to use sum भन्ने कुरा भयो so obviously you would be taking screenshots of this report मा चाहिँ it is showing कि J label result with if formula and the formula bar returning pass or fail and K column showing VLOOKUP formula using a student name from a search cell okay so here we could do it so sum what we would do sum C2 G2 and you would go here अनि to the C to C2 देखि G2 त हैन because there is no subject in G2 so let's just write total marks so each student total marks would be sum of यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्म right so that is the sum so if you copy that and if you paste it here then what happens you get this all of these summed into their total marks then you have average class average for English so your particular we could possibly bring that around here let's say so we want to take out the value for class average for English how this would be done equals to अनि यहाँनिर उसले हामीलाई त्यो पनि दिएको छ so it's the average भन्ने formula it's the function so यहाँनिर average of what भन्दाखेरि of English भनेपछि यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्मको एभरेज निकाल भनेर हामीले भनेको भयो if you do this 70.9 say would be class average for English यहाँनिर अलिकति छोप्यो so I'll just bring that yeah that's 70.9 अनि max mean highest and lowest total marks so let me do this highest and lowest total marks so we would go here highest and lowest total marks would be total marks यहाँ छ so equals to max and then if you just type it then यो यसरी देखाउँछ ल यो चाहिँ के हो त syntax so यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्मको we want the max highest and lowest one this is the highest so let me just write highest marks highest total marks it's 318 So lowest would be obviously mean garyo bhane you can do that. Lowest total marks is yahi chis tara not max, it's mean. So that's the lowest total marks. This pachadi we have number of students in the list. So if you want to calculate this, what formula you would be using? It's called count A. So count A equals to count A let me count from here to here the number of cells that have been selected, that's counted. So that's like 10. So number of students in the list would be 10. So we have this logical part. Now pass or fail. And based on percentage. Okay. So let me do that. So percentage would be so I2 you want to have a percentage. So let me just write the whole thing here, right? So percentage we will calculate in this same cell. So equals to if there's no I2 right now, there's total marks G2 it's like divided by 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 like 400. Yeah. So you're back. Wait, let me just write it down in a different place, the formula. So you remember like board mass rule, board mass. So you would do brackets first, then multiplication, then BOD divide कुन multiplication यो bracket वाला multiplication off bracket अनि off अनि BOD भनेको divide and multiply. So that thing would be applicable here as well. So for हामीले पहिला त यहाँनिर I'm just trying to take out its percentage so यो भयो त्यो percentage अनि यदि percentage चाहिँ less than 45 भयो भने pass, otherwise fail भन्ने यदि गर्यो भने चाहिँ if I put that formula there's a problem. I know when the first character is equals or minus, Excel thinks it's a formula. So ठीक छ एकछिन यहाँनिर के बिग्रेर हाम्रो फर्मुलामा So what if I remove this? Okay, understood. Let me just skip. Let me take out percentage neither. It is so much hard with it. Percentage is kati bhandakeri total marks divided by 400 because that's the total number of subjects. And what we had done, we had converted into percentage, right? So all of that we could bring up till here. So simple formula हामीले चाहिँ G2 होइन कि we don't need to do any of these things now. So it's not G2, it's actually H2 because I feel by app percent लेख्नु पर्यो 74% ल्याएर फेल भयो भने त हैन कोही पनि फेल भएको छैन एकजना फेल बनाइदिउँ न स्थान प्रियालाई फेल बनाइदिउँ ओके लेट्स से उसको चाहिँ 30 आयो रे यहाँ एउटा सब्जेक्टमा 30 आयो अर्को सब्जेक्टमा 25 आयो सो यो चाहिँ पर्सेन्टेजको आधारमा उसलाई फेल गरायो हैन ओके अलराइट हामी कहाँ पुग्यो we got till here. Ani count of student who passed. So here we would have another number of pass students. And that would be kati bhandakeri अब यो चाहिँ लाइक इफ यु रिमेम्बर अघि नै काउन्ट भन्ने गरे हामीले नम्बर अफ स्टुडेन्ट्स इन द लिस्ट हैन कहाँ हो नम्बर अफ स्टुडेन्ट इन द लिस्ट काउन्ट इफ भनेको मतलब चाहिँ यदि एउटा सर्टेन कन्डिसन फुलफिल भयो भने मात्रै काउन्ट गर्छ राइट सो यो चाहिँ यहाँ भयो नट J2 बट दिस इज लाइक I2 देखि I11 सम्म I2 देखि I11 सम्म see that is all automatically selected there so यो भयो भने 9 भयो because one is failure so only pass भएको मात्रै उसले काउन्ट गरिरहेछ कि जहाँनेरि पास लेखे सो एउटा त्यस्तो स्ट्रिङहरु लेख्दाखेरि चाहिँ क्यारेक्टरहरु अक्षरहरु लेख्दा चाहिँ you would have to use यो inverted commas right okay and then अब VLOOKUP गराउने कुरा गरिरहेछ हैन यहाँ के भन्छ look up a student's grade by name भन्ने हैन त so wait so let me get a new thing here grade by name भन्ने हैन so grade by name हैन त so grade by name गर्नलाई what you have to do is first one the grade चाहियो so what we can do is we can calculate grade here हैन so grade would be based on percentage right के गरौँ भन्दाखेरि यो percentage लाई चाहिँ we are going to compare and see if like 90% भन्दा माथि छ भने that would be A अनि similarly है त so what we can do is we can write a formula quite a long one again there would be multiple approaches of doing things but this is one of the ways that you could do हैन so what we can do is we can have a formula हैन that says कि यो if s भन्ने formula जहाँनेरि चाहिँ we can say if s अनि s3 चाहिँ h3 right now wait h3 is what is this h3 is this हैन this is h2 okay so h2 or h3 बाट सुरु गरे पनि भयो h3 चाहिँ is greater than 90 भन्ने a हुनु पर्यो कमा यदि h3 चाहिँ greater than or equals to 85 भयो भने चाहिँ a minus हुनु पर्यो हैन greater than or equals to 80% भयो भने b plus हुनु पर्यो so this would go through all of this okay and once it hits a certain correct formula then it exits हैन so you could use this for other purposes as well if s को काम चाहिँ के हो त यहाँ देखि चेक गर्दै जान्छ and whichever is correct त्यो एउटा गर्ने बित्तिकै it exits हैन जस्तो कि यहाँ नेरि उसले चाहिँ if it finds out h3 is greater than or equals to 90% भने उसले a output दिन्छ and then it exits so you would think of a function like a box जहाँ नेरि चाहिँ तपाईले केही चीज इन्टर गरेपछि त्यसले सर्टेन आउटपुट दिन्छ फंक्शनलाई कतिपयले मसिन पनि भन्छन् लाइक अ मसिन तपाईले सर्टेन इनपुट दिनुहुन्छ उसले सर्टेन आउटपुट दिन्छ सो यो केसमा के हुन्छ त तपाईले के इनपुट दिनुहुन्छ त पर्सेन्टेज इनपुट दिनुहुन्छ उसले चाहिँ ग्रेड आउटपुट गर्छ हैन सो यो फर्मुलालाई चाहिँ आई वुड ब्रिङ इट हियर हाम्रो ग्रेड निकाल्ने फर्मुला भयो हैन so यही फर्मुला आई क्यान पेस्ट इट अक्रॉस टु गेट these respective grades so you can even check like usko chahi if हामीले अब you don't want to destroy that but यहाँ नेरि you can give it 90 so that b even 90 आयो भने b plus हैन यो पनि 90 आयो भने still b plus यो पनि 90 आयो भने a आयो के so that's how to grade it works हैन so now what we are actually looking for is grade by name so इसको केसमा let's say we're looking for a certain person's grade हैन so VLOOKUP को लागि हामी गरिरहेको so but VLOOKUP को formula requires is एउटा चाहिँ so let me just write it down first so this is the formula हैन so if you look at its syntax it shows कि फर्स्ट हामीले लुकअप भ्यालु चाहियो लुकअप भ्यालु भनेको हामी के खोजिरहेको त भन्दा हामी यो खोजिरहेको हैन m9 कमा and it is saying table array भनेको कुन चाहिँ टेबलमा हामी खोजिरहेको त हामी यो टेबलमा खोजिरहेको है त सो यहाँ देखि छ नाम अनि हामी चाहिँ ग्रेड खोजिरहेको नि त सो हामीलाई यहाँसम्म चाहियो हैन यो VLOOKUP इज लाइक अ सर्च गर्ने फर्मुला हो के सो इट इज गोइङ टु सर्च फर a certain value and it is going to return its corresponding value for now we're looking for grade by name हैन यो नामको आधारमा चाहिँ हामी त्यसको कति ग्रेड आएछ भनेर खोज्न खोजिरहेको हैन नाम चाहिँ हामी कहाँ लेख्ने भयो त यहाँ लेख्ने भयो हैन तर यहाँ पनि छ नाम हैन सो यहाँ देखि यहाँसम्मको we are going to search भन्ने भयो टेबल array कमा कलम इन्डेक्स भनेको चाहिँ कुन कलममा छ त हामीले खोजेको एन्सर चाहिँ भन्दाखेरि यो कलममा छ सो which column is this if you count for this table it's going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 so यो चाहिँ हाम्रो कलम 9 मा छ भन्ने कुरा हो हैन and then रेन्ज हामीले चाहियो भनेपछि यो कलममा चाहिँ एन्सर छ हामीले खोजेको कुरा चाहिँ कहाँ छ त भन्दा यहाँ छ it's on 1 हैन so what you would do 1 and so if you now close the formula and you give enter के भयो त रोहनको चाहिँ बी हो भनेर उसले देखाइदिएको छ हो त रोहन कहाँ छ रोहन बी okay and so like let's say if it was Neha then what you would do is you would just write it here the formula would get updated or wait Neha त बी छ त कसरी ए आयो so Neha अर्को पनि छ र यहाँ छैन let's try Karan Karanले बिगारे के हो मैले एकछिन यता प्रियाको चाहिँ मिल्यो एफ हैन त्यस पछाडी ईशान ईशानको बी माइनस वेट so something is wrong here so m9 हैन b2 so what you want to do is actually let's do this later so it's like we want to convert it into a table हैन and then it's like we need to sort it like this because the way the formula works it would have to iterate अनि त्यसो गर्दाखेरिमा if we don't sort it then it will not give out a right answer so अब चाहिँ this works and same formula but since we had not sorted it was not working correctly okay so now if you do this then it would work for anyone like let's say Ram I know so Ram ko C so the formula is the same but since we had not sorted it was not working correctly so here would still be an F and Karan would be B minus so this is how that would work so VLOOKUP भनेको it's for searching you know based on whatever value that you provide so you'll see this helps in like data analysis or immediate answers or this can help and in fact कतिपय केसमा चाहिँ we could also do it in such a way कि यहाँनिर चाहिँ we could have a grade table हैन कि 80 आयो भने चाहिँ A 70 आयो भने चाहिँ B भन्ने जस्तो and then त्यो अनुसार चाहिँ we could give a grade to each one of them so that is also very much possible यसको use case मा चाहिँ alright that's VLOOKUP हैन अनि let's move on to date time so यो चाहिँ के भयो त if you write this formula it will just give a date time okay so what we can do is result publish on भनेर if you write this formula then that just sprouts out today's date अब यसको चाहिँ you can have format अरु format मा पनि हैन so what you could possibly do is format cells मा गएर you could have it in other ways as well okay so let's say Wednesday March 14 you could have it in this manner is it give the format cells you know format cells you can do like whatever formatting that you want and so date saying you can have it in this way if you want like if you don't like this decimal then you could go to format cells and you can have your numbers in general like number we don't want any decimals you know? Okay so you can decimal aina you know so similarly you could format things like let's say like you want to write rupees 500 rupees 300 and equals to now if you try to add these two then that would be a error you know because यो चाहिँ text को रूपमा आइराछ हैन सो यसलाई हामीले के गर्नु पर्यो त if you really want that rupees to be there then you would go to format cells and यहाँ चाहिँ this should be a currency हैन and its symbol is going to be let's find it if it's here. And so we do have the raw ru जस्तै. So you could either use something from here, rupees vanilla. And if you do okay, then what happens? So it's like same format. We could bring it here, and you could paste the formatting only, So now if you erase that, because I'm like RS the type on the, so URS is part of the formatting, so it doesn't count as text. And so if you do this, then you would automatically get RS Manira. So that's how it works. So this is a different thing, not a part of current functions chapter, but still it's worth looking into it. That's called formatting. So cells formatting, just this is percentage. I'm click गरेर you could also have other formatting options that you could utilize. Just the time maybe, or certain case you can have your currency ka kuraharu, these would come under formatting. All right, so if you have any other questions, of course you could take screenshots of specific things you did, like यसको formula or your table, like कसरी तपाईले sort गर्नुभयो भन्ने कुरा हैन. So you could have a few screenshots. यहाँनिर specifically in your report sample के लेखिरहेछ भने you want result if formula in the formula bar returning pass or fail, त्यो हामी गरिहाल्यौ. अनि VLOOKUP formula चाहिँ from a search cell. हो यो search cell जुन भनिरहेछ नि, search cell भनेको चाहिँ हो यो. Okay, so if you have any other questions, just let me know. I'll create a similar kind of recording.